Hello, I am Matthew Lipo, President of the Delusion Unitary Republic. I am speaking to you today about a matter of utmost importance in determining the future of our young republic. On November 19th, 25 days ago, the National Assembly approved a resolution calling for the creation of a new constitution to replace our current one. It is with great pride that I announce the completion of the Constitutional Convention, with the National Assembly having voted unanimously earlier today to approve the new Constitution, and a popular referendum to complete the ratification process is scheduled for Monday. I am very excited to see what is to come of this. I would like to take this time now to talk to you about some of the highlights of this new Constitution, and you may find the full text of it pinned to our Twitter profile or through the link in the description. This Constitution is 10 pages long and has 10 articles, which I shall briefly run through. Before I begin, though, note that this Constitution does not fundamentally change our structure of government. We still have the same National Assembly, President, and Judiciary, but this goes into much more detail about the exact powers and limitations of each, making it much more clear than our current Constitution and hopefully more permanent. Article 1 begins by talking about the general nature of the Unitary Republic. It talks about the official name and abbreviations of Delusia, defines its borders, and says we are to be a democratic and unitary republic. Of note are the provisions that we shall have no national capital, all territories must be added through constitutional amendments, and the government of Delusia must recognize and enforce macronational law when necessary. Articles 2 and 3 are similar to one another, and two of the defining features of this Constitution. Article 2 is the Bill of Values and describes the core philosophy behind the creation of our government and how this Constitution is to be interpreted, including such values as limited and representative and secular government, rationalism, nonpartisanship, voluntary association, education, and consent of the governed. Article 3 is the Bill of Rights, including such rights as freedom of speech, freedom of religion, of association, etc. Especially of note in these two articles are that they ban the creation of political parties in Delusia and require the government to have a legal mechanism for the people to alter or abolish it should it become tyrannical. They also specify that the people may not be punished for disagreeing with these values or the government as a whole, and powers not delegated to the Constitution are to be left to the provinces and to the people. Articles 4, 5, and 6 talk about the National Assembly, President, and Judiciary, respectively. The National Assembly shall have all the legislative and executive power in the Unitary Republic, and shall be composed of the President, the heads of all the executive departments, and any additional delegates that may be apportioned by population. The President and delegates will be elected every year on June 1st, the delegates will take office on June 7th, and the President on July 1st. The basic structure of the National Assembly is to remain the same as before, but with a very clear enumeration of powers, such as the powers to make currency, naturalize citizens, engage in diplomacy, etc. More important, however, are the limitations this Constitution gives to it. The National Assembly may not enact compulsory taxes, it may not engage in so-called war, and it may not pass meaningless laws it has no way to enforce. You may find the complete list in the Constitution. The role of the President, however, has not changed that much, as they still appoint cabinet members and ambassadors, oversee the implementation of national law, conduct the National Assembly, and guide diplomacy. Finally, the judiciary will be the supreme civil, criminal, and appellate court, and will have the power of judicial review. Of note, however, is that until the full 5-member judiciary is able to be filled, all of its responsibilities will be handled by the National Assembly. It's not ideal, but it's the best we can do while we're still so small. Article 7 talks about citizenship in the Unitary Republic and the rights and privileges that come with it. Anyone in compliance with the law will be permitted to apply for citizenship, and Delusia will recognize multiple citizenship. No legal distinction may be made between citizens of any of Delusia's territories or provinces and expatriates. Finally, the government of Delusia shall conduct an annual census, and citizenship may be revoked as punishment for crimes or inactivity. Article 8 discusses the provinces and territories of Delusia, provinces being partially autonomous territories governed by a statute of autonomy with their rights, restrictions, and responsibilities being defined in this Constitution and their statutes of autonomy. Statutes of autonomy may be revoked by 4/5 majority in the National Assembly if absolutely necessary. Article 9 lays out how this Constitution may be amended, laying out two possible ways to go about this. The first way involves a proposed amendment receiving a 2/3 majority in the National Assembly and a majority vote in a popular referendum. And the second way involves an amendment being proposed in a petition signed by half the citizens of Delusia and a 2/3 majority vote in a referendum, thus letting the citizens amend the Constitution without the National Assembly. Finally, Article 10 lays out how this Constitution shall go into effect, as if it were an amendment to our current one, requiring a 2/3 vote in the National Assembly and a majority vote in a referendum, which we are in the process of right now. I hope this helps you better understand the Constitution we have spent so long writing and the choice being presented to you, our citizens, when the referendum is held on Monday. If you have any questions about this process or the Constitution, feel free to ask me either on Twitter, by email at delusionunitaryrepublic@gmail.com, or in the comments below. Thank you for listening, and I hope this helps you understand this pivotal moment in our nation's history. Have a great day, and long live Delusia.